Hi, and welcome back to the Life After Losses blog. This is entry 152, An Ugly Truth. Now, before we begin, let me first mention something about the other ugly, and that's the video quality of this blog. Now, I know that recording myself from Zoom doesn't look great, and I'm hoping to spend some time over the slower holiday period looking at options. So if you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear them below in the comments, or just email me from the website or reply to the email I send you. All right, now let's begin with this week's entry. So longtime readers know that I get inspiration from whatever I see happening around me. And that said, I didn't expect to get inspiration from rewatching a show I've been watched nearly 20 years ago, Ugly Betty. Now, while problematic by today's standards, I remembered it as a sweet, funny, and campy show. What I didn't remember or expect was that there are some pearls of wisdom hidden within, like this week's gem was, if you want a different life, you have to do things differently. So Betty was lamenting over her relationship with Henry, and while the latter was preparing to have a baby with his ex-girlfriend Charlie. And Charlie clearly didn't want Betty and the Beau to be together, and does everything that she can to get in the way. And at some point, while offering advice to her boss, Betty realizes that if she wants a different life, she has to do things differently. And in her case, she tried to befriend Charlie by throwing a disastrous baby shower, but let's save that for the TV review. So I'm sure you've heard that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And while tongue in cheek, there's some validity to this line of thought that isn't a clinical definition of insanity. Now, in my emotional mastery course, which there's a link below, we discuss change and making different choices that lead to a different life. And I've had to do that a few times in my life. And it's usually when I find myself in what I call my enough moments. You know, those moments where you finally feel enough is enough and you need to change something. Well, that's what Betty felt. And that's what I felt after 2 years of wallowing in the despair of my grief. I had that enough moment and changed what I had been doing. I wanted a different life, so I had to do things differently. And it's so simple, and it hardly seems possible that so simple that most people don't even recognize it. Most people don't realize their own power over their lives when they start doing things differently. Now, I felt I had no choice but to make a massive change. I quit my job, I started a new career as a consultant, and I changed my scenery by traveling all the time. Now, for you, it might be as simple as walking left from your front door instead of right. As I mentioned a few weeks ago, while talking about a messy life, taking a different path than you're used to can lead to something unexpected and potentially special. I wound up meeting my second husband. And when I decided to tell my story nearly 4 years ago, I had no idea a pandemic would come. I had no idea it would take almost a year to get the book written and edited and to pick a cover. I had no idea I'd have 152 blog entries. The first one was done 3 years ago this week. I took a different path and was blessed with the opportunity to share and help others heal. And I took that different path and found, much to my surprise, gratitude in the journey I've been given. I actually found gratitude as my first loss helped me navigate the second, and my second gave me perspective on the first. And that would not have happened and been clear to me had I not taken the path that I took to share my story. Had I not, during the pandemic, also decided that I wanted to take an acting class and resume something I'd long ago left behind, I wouldn't be working in front of a camera with my first feature film release in a few months. Had I chosen to take the path I knew instead of the one I didn't, I wouldn't have had the career I've had over the last nearly 13 years with the company I love working for. So here's the ugly truth. You can keep playing it safe and doing the same thing if you want. There's no shame in that, but I want you to do so with the knowledge that having a different life requires making different choices and taking different actions. When you're tired of how things are in your life and you've hit your enough moment, I hope you'll take that opportunity to shake things up, take a different path and observe, make incremental changes. If you want a different life, make your life different. And if you need help, I offer an emotional mastery course. I offer happiness coaching. But in the meantime, I'm going to take my own advice and do something different. I want to lose 20 pounds in the next 2 months, and I've got some celery in the fridge calling my name. It's a different enough moment, but the concept so it works. Until next time.